put down with their words, you know, and the attitude and all that. So there are those who will become very irritable, you walk on eggshells when you're with them and the like. So it affects that relationship too, you know, and no one can do anything. And then now this person will start wondering, why don't people like relating with me? You know, why are they, I don't have genuine relationships. But the way you approach people, they become fearful and they build a wall.
A wall.
Yeah, so people will build a wall around you. And so meeting for different activities, we are meeting as a congregation, we are seeing other human beings, you know, you're doing activities together. That social aspect, because we are social beings. So that social being a social being is very important. Because you can imagine nowadays the way work has taken most of our time. The entire day you're at work, you know, from you leave the house at 6, you're back at 9, the entire week. You know, some even Saturdays or Saturdays you rest. Sunday you're still alone in the house, you have nowhere you're going. But then someone who would go, or Sunday or Saturday or Friday, whichever day you meet, they are going to interact. Human interaction is very important. Me looking at you, you know, us laughing, saying hi, relating, you know, and that group work, and even sharing a challenge you're having, and then people are, that one you can do 1, 2, 3. You've gotten a solution for something, even if it's simple as what. But now imagine you're just at home or alone and the likes, and with your phone, you know, and with your phone. So that social interaction also helps. In terms of culture, the way we were previously really helped. Same thing, sure. The aspect of community. The men knew what they were doing, the women knew, the children knew their role, the community, they came in that aspect. That culture helped, and that's why we were less. Somehow we tend to look down upon our previous, the way we used to. But thank God we are beginning to celebrate our African culture and the way we used to live. That's why we didn't have so much of these mental health issues, because there was community, there was relating. Father, mother, children would sit and share the same bowl. Sure. My friend.
And even the extended family.
The extended family coming in, and you're telling stories and you're laughing. That was a whole therapy. In the evening, every
it's
day.
It's a whole therapy session.
Yes.
I remember my grandmother passed on last December. The only remaining one. So every day, after we finished supper, we could go to her place and we sit around the fire. And she was a very good storyteller. So she could talk to us about stories, those organ narratives, and they were very captivating every single day. And you feel so close. Yes. You feel so close. Nowadays, it's TikTok.
Imagine. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and you live feeling discouraged because other people are making it and you're not.
And you are not.
You see?
It's doing more harm than good.
Yeah, so culture.
Workplace. Workplace. Biggest concern. Workplace and mental health profession, of course, for different types of professions. Are there things that they can do practically to help the situation?
In the workplace?
In the workplace.
There's a lot. Yes, they are trying. Okay, there's the EAPs, employee assistance programs that are coming up. That part of it is mental health, you know, as much as there are other additions. So we are seeing more workplaces embracing it, and it's because it's now becoming a policy or even in the law that these we need to have an EAP, you know. These assistants needs to come in to help them, because now employees are spending majority of their time at work, so those other needs need to be catered for. So that is happening, but then we are doing it to some extent, a good number of places for the sake of it. The team buildings, we are just going for the sake of it, but people are not relating well. There's so much. Yes, we're just ticking those boxes, and we see that a lot. We have the team building, but within it, people, there are issues. There are issues. You know, people don't want others to succeed. You know, this one I don't know is doing what to. There is so much happening. And this I'm talking in terms of even the clients and how the stories that you hear, sometimes they are so depressing, and wondering how that is going on. So there's that aspect that is coming in, that we need to start at the workplace level. The managers and the leaders need to be trained on how to deal with different relationships within the workplace, and knowing that someone is there with their abilities, you don't need to feel threatened. You don't need to create a workspace where there's just competition throughout. But we need to a place where we are all collaborating, we are working together for the betterment of this place. So there's that need. As much as you have those EAPs, we need at the individual level and at the managerial level, the employee level, that needs to be done. We are now empowering in terms of who we are as individuals, and trainings of how to manage such, the conflict management and the likes. Yeah, I would say.
And given that right now there is more awareness, because like if you check in the stats, the reported cases of mental health care at the moment are more as compared to what we had 3 years ago. Every day when we check this progression. So it also goes without saying that it should also be visible from employers and companies, visible effort towards the same, because the cases are increasing. Solutions should also be visible and increasing, and the generation that we are raising now, the Gen Z, is a very different breed of generation, and so a lot needs to be done when it comes to what you are mentioning.
It's true, a lot needs to be done, because and they are noticing that now we cannot, because they are coming in and saying they need a mental health week. They want to dress simply and not, it's the work produced that you want to see. It's not my attire and the likes. We want hybrid work from home and the likes. So yes, we cannot just dismiss everything. We shouldn't dismiss everything that they are talking about, and seeing where we can just have a balance between the two and how we can accommodate them, because they're here to stay. You will fire this Gen Z, but it's still the Gen Z who will come again for an interview. Sure. So yeah, finding a way to work around it would help, and still having the standard that makes the company who they are.
In your line of duty, what I would love to know some of the common misconceptions, like what is it that people think and it's not supposed to be that way, or they don't think that way it's supposed to be that way. Common misconceptions as far as mental health is concerned.
It's going to sound a bit weird, but don't believe every thought that comes to your mind. If there's one thing I would shout on top of the mountain, it is that don't believe every thought that comes to your mind. Okay? You need to assess the thoughts that you're having. Because those thoughts, if I can give, they come from the different experiences that you had. For example, if you were abused or you were taken advantage of, there is that part of you that is there somewhere. So when you're relating with someone, or when you're just in a social gathering and setup, chances are high you meet with someone who's even okay and all that, but the abused part will tell you that you cannot trust anyone. In your mind, no, you cannot. So you need, internally, you cannot trust anyone, so you need to separate yourself from that, or don't call them, or no, they are saying we're having another meeting, the 5 of us or what, no, don't go. People are not trusted. So that is internal. And somehow we believe that because it is just within us, we should just take it as it is and run with it. So we need to realize I have this, maybe an abused part, I have this shamed part, whereby you were shamed growing up by your parent, where everything you did somehow it just ended, it was your fault, even something that is their fault. So there is this shamed part, whereby now you are afraid of doing something, taking an initiative that you can do, but this shame part will come and tell you, no, if you fail, someone will feel embarrassed, or someone will say it's your fault. So it tells you that, and you sit back. So because there is that part of you. So not believing every thought, assessing every thought that comes to your mind. And that is also part of the journey that we take in therapy. And as you sit and have that thought, if it causes you to go down, sadness, anger, frustration, and it's building up, you need to trace back and see, what thought did I have? If you can, what was that initial thought? It will be a struggle at first, but eventually you'll be able to tell, this is what I was thinking. And most of the time you will realize, especially if you isolate yourself, you would think so much that, oh, people are saying this about me, people are judging me, people are doing. Eventually when you go out, you'll realize, people just talked for 2 minutes. After that, they went ahead and continued with their life. But you beat yourself down, you maybe self-harmed, or you did all other things because you believed those thoughts. So for me, that is one thing I would shout, I would keep saying that, don't believe. The same way you have a door in your house where you don't just allow anyone to come in, same thing I would advise, have a door in your mind of the things that you allow to come in and settle in your heart and think about and dwell about. Same thing during the day, and especially at night if you're going through challenges. That is what causes even someone not to have good sleep at night. Because if you notice, if you start with one thought, it will go, and go, and then you become angry. At some time you'll even sit up, or you'll start feasting and you're in bed, and sleep will just go because of that thought you started. So it's a whole thing that in therapy you try to help someone to also get to that point where they're able to learn how to manage their thought and become more self-aware. That's why we say self-awareness is really important. And that is what we sometimes mean, self-awareness of our thoughts and also our emotions, how our bodies are reacting.
That thought is coming, so I'm very interested. That thought is coming, and there's the door that's supposed to usher in that thought or block it. What do I do with this thought? After I've traced it to the origin, what do I do at this point in time?
Now, so it's those relationship struggles that are there, is because now, as you had said, being taught how to relate with other people, the community aspect that was there, whereby, yes, you had your mother and your father, but you are able to relate with your uncles, with your neighbors, with your friends, you play together. When they see you do something, they will either address it at that time or they will come and tell your parent. Now, you see someone's child doing something and you just pass. You keep quiet and you go. So now it's not a matter of life and death, you just pass. And that is it. That's community and relating with others. It's no longer there. So that's why relationship people are struggling. And they are cutting off, because now if someone says they are cutting off and the likes, it's because maybe to some extent for some, at home you are just used to being them and the nanny in school. And so if I work hard, because I work hard in school, and then I come home, the nanny is there, he'll give me my food, no close relational relation. So as an adult, this person thinks I can cut off everyone, I have learned to live by, but now you realize this is a world. You're in the workplace, you cannot cut people. You need friends. Because your parents will never be there forever and the like. So those relationship issues are there, and that's why we have also the depression and anxiety coming along. Because this person has cut off so many people, or everyone is toxic, so they are not talking to most people, they end up being lonely and isolated. And then we are not even adding the factor of being online with our social media, that even takes so much time that we are not relating with other people.
It has worsened.
It has worsened. So there is that, the relationship issues coming in, and even the workplace stress. I don't know why the workplace, maybe it's because now I'm here, but workplace is becoming a major challenge for people, for even the clients I'm seeing. There is a lot of workplace stress and the likes, and wondering, and it doubles down to also that aspect of relationships and all, because our parents, they used to stay with one employer for 25 to 30 years. Like my mom, I think 30 years or so or more, one employer. And for the current generation right now, they cannot do average. I remember I was reading a certain research, it was saying average is 5 to 8 years only. That is now someone who has really stayed and they have said, I have years. So that is also coming in, because the workplace, either that and also the people as all, I think we can just draw arrows and Yeah, and they will all connect. The difficulty in relationships, so you have to keep hopping because you keep going, labeling everything as toxic and cutting and not knowing how to regulate emotions and the like. So that also has come in, and also the leadership being a challenge also, if we add all that struggles that are going on.
Someone was mentioning to me a couple of days ago, we were discussing this topic roughly, and he mentioned that nowadays children and their parents, especially generally parents, like they have operational relationship, they have financial relationship. I will only call you when my rent is due. When I'm on campus, I'll only call you, my rent is due. That's the only time we shall have the conversation. And it's so, like, it's basic. It's basic, it's operational. Clean the house, blah, blah, blah. Very, very basic. And looks like it's one of the things that is affecting the current generation. What signs should we look out for? Early signs for before things is.
Yes.
Sure. What are the early signs that someone should see to start the healing process?
Okay, most of the early signs for me, the number one I usually see is sleep deprivation. Usually, and your sleep somehow is affected, even in the initial stages. Either you fail to go to sleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night, and then now you're thinking about so many things, and then they bring up the emotion. So sleep usually goes, and even sometimes appetite is affected. You can either eat too much or too little. Yes, that is one of the aspects. And then slowly you begin to reduce your activity levels on things you enjoyed, or just so other things apart from what is necessary, either school or work. So you notice you're slowly decreasing your activity level, which now later on will end up being you're just seated doing nothing. And then also even relating with people, it goes decreasing. So those are the early signs that we should ask ourselves: why am I not sleeping? Why don't I have the energy to do things? Or even feeling tired easily, like, or you notice that, hey, you're late, I'm feeling so tired and I don't know why, or anything like that. For others it will be the body, the headache, constant headache, they'll start feeling headache here and there, or their muscles, they're just having muscle pains and they don't understand, and the likes, or stomach issues. So or even heartburn that is not. So there is a lot. For some it will be physical, for others it will be those subtle emotional bit.
A man is likely to be affected by mental health challenges in a family. Between a wife and a man is more likely to be affected. Are we built differently to handle mental health cases, or why does it affect men more as compared to women?
Compared to women, it depends on the issue, but I think for us women we have a broader community to bounce back, and we are nurtured more care is taken. As in, for us, there is more care even growing up.
There are more structures to take care of you.
Of us, and preparing us. That is before, preparing us for life to some extent compared to them. And somehow the man is just supposed to get it.
Figure it out.
You figure it when you want to figure it out. There is also that. And for the men, there is no option of failing. It's like you're not supposed to fail. I don't know why men believe you're superhumans. Superhumans, that I am not supposed to fail. And failure is okay, as in we fail once, and it is okay too. So there's also that bit of, and for women somehow it's more forgiving. It's the same way when, let's say for example, I know this is something sensitive, when some violence happens, when it is there for the women, yes, people will make a lot of noise.
Sure.
And sometimes there's a scenario, maybe it's 3 women, but maybe in that same scenario, 20 men died. or violence as it. But that will not get as much airtime as attention as. So you see there's that care of for the woman that it is, but for the men somehow
even in their absentia,
yes,
there's still that care.
There's still that care. So somehow, so is that feeling of you are alone. So even in a marital situation, the woman, they are more likely to be, although now it is changing, you have an option, you can go back home. But for you, for the man, it's do or die.
There are you.
Yeah, it is do or die. So that's why some things will stress them more compared to the woman who somehow the society will somehow treat you in a
tenderly.
Yes, yeah, it is that part.
Around the same thing, you mentioned that boys, men, you always told that you should not fail. Does it mean that there are some wording, vocabulary that when you are raising a boy child, we tell them that intentionally doesn't sit well with them.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to cry. Wanaume waanguki, go figure it out. Is it high time to start being very keen and subtle with those wording?
Yes, it is, and that is it. Just being keen and subtle and understanding that even this boy, they feel pain, they feel sad, they want to receive that care and the like. So it is us noticing that they also need that care and concern around it, as you mentioned. And I'm not saying we become too soft on them. No, it is just embracing them more. And there's a friend of mine who got a new house help, and she told her, the house help told her, mwanaume anafaa achiwe akae ngumu kidogo. And this is less than 1 year. I'm like, this boy, this child is not even 1 year yet, and already we want to be tough on them. They are a baby, we need. So already that mindset somehow is still there, but we are seeing in the modern cities and the urban areas, it's now gone to the other extreme. That's the other thing. So for you, there's this struggle. For the other ones now, they have been over. The soft life now has been excess also because of that need being met. Yeah.
It goes deeper. It goes deeper on a joking way. Like now, you find men talking, saying, like now, they make it worse. Like in a nutshell, throughout your life.
It's interesting if you allow me to add also that, because now you've noticed that even for why alcohol sometimes is so inviting to the men in the States, because, and you notice a good percentage of men who are addicted to alcohol, they are the feelers. We call them the feelers. They're the ones who tend to be a bit more emotional.
Feelers?
Yes, feelers. You feel more, you want more emotional connection, and you feel sad with someone, you can even cry easily. But society, especially African society, it doesn't want, that is not welcome. So this person is overwhelmed by this emotion that is not welcomed in the general. So how do we manage it? They turn to alcohol that tends to numb those emotions and all that. So that is just a disclaimer I wanted to put there, that you notice a good chunk there are feelers of which society doesn't really welcome that. So they have to numb the thoughts and the feelings with that aspect of alcohol and other drugs and the like. I'm
interested in the other categories. There are feelers, and then who else?
No, there are those who are feelers and those who are more doers.
Oh.
Doers and feelers. We have no time for emotions. We are doing.
Okay.
So there's that broad category. It's the same way we have the broad category of introverts and extroverts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there are those who are outgoing and ingoing, maybe quote unquote.
Sure.
So even here there are feelers and there are doers. Yes. So the men who tend to be on the feelers, this is supposed to be the women only. Okay. This is supposed to be more of a women area. But there are those, that's why you have that disparity. It's a whole thing that you can even talk about testosterone levels and the likes and why they feel because they have lesser testosterone than these other men. It's a whole, trust me, you want to remain calm. So one would say you catch the thought. This is the thought that I'm having, I am a failure. Assess the thought. How true is this thing, I'm a failure? Yes, I did a presentation and I did do it well. So to some extent it might be true or not, but is it true throughout? You realize, no, I have succeeded. This is you assessing that thought. I have succeeded in many other ways, so I'm assessing this thought and it is not as true. Label it. This thought is telling me I'm a failure, And they will tear you down with their words, you know, and their attitude and all that. So there are those who will become very irritable, you walk on eggshells when you're with them and the like. So it affects that relationship too, you know, and no one can do anything. And then now this person will start wondering, why don't people like relating with me? You know, why are they, I don't have genuine relationships. But the way you approach people, they become fearful and they build a wall.
A wall.
Yeah, so people will build a wall around you, and somehow you end up being sort of isolated, and when you're there, but you're not, people don't. And then now that even causes you to become even angrier and dislike people more. That's why you meet someone and you're wondering, they're always angry at someone. They're just ready to, you wonder, I haven't done anything.
They're very ready.
Yes, because it's because of that aspect coming along. And sometimes the way society has, nowadays the way it is, we really look at ourselves, we always see it's other people that need to change and not me. Yes. So that's how relationships are affected.
Trauma, stress, mental health. What is the aftermath of what? We're generally talking about mental health. Is stress and trauma a subset of mental health?
Yes, stress is. Trauma is somewhat separate, because trauma is the one that leads to issues in the mental health. Yes. So if we remove trauma, we'll have maybe less of mental health
case issues.
Yes, and one of the characteristics of mental health is that we'll experience stress. Yes, so that is where everything starts. Stress is a shift, by the way. It's just a shift of status quo. When you are like, these things begin to shift. So will you get back on track, or will you go down this rabbit hole until we give you a diagnosis, a mental health diagnosis? So everything starts with stress at that starting point, where things have shifted.
I think it's very clear. Do we have forms of, do you have, I don't want to niche it down, but do you, when you're handling clients, do you have something that you see most often? The most often cause of mental health challenges or issues at all levels, both family or either. Just
for me, I would say of late, or the first thing, I'll just say what has come. The first thing is how worried we are about what people think. I have had a series of clients that they are so stressed about what people will think, and I keep that aspect of, and what if they think, so what? And that is what now I'm really trying to, like when I go for training and do that, because everyone is worried, and because the moment you think what would other people think, that's the moment where we are living other people's lives. We are not living our lives. We are not being present to fulfill what we are here for. So that I've noticed is a big thing, and it really causes someone to be so stressful, you know, and the likes. And also the thoughts that we have, that is also a major thing that is there, whereby naturally we tend to think on the negative. Just natural, and it takes a lot of effort to redirect our thoughts back to positive and thinking, and yes, this is a challenge that we can manage it. So mostly it is those aspects of that I've noticed. Thinking, dwelling so much on what people will think and say, and the negative aspect of the way we just think, and that is how we end up with suicide. It just starts with like a thought, and if we're not careful, we will not redirect. Eventually, you will think that suicide is the best option. You know, and it looks like it's the only way to go. So mostly it is that, without going into specific examples. That is just the general bit.
The first one, the one that people are so concerned about what others think. I was reading something, mindset shift, and one thing that was being discussed was spotlight effect. It's called spotlight effect, where you constantly feel like they are looking at me. They are looking at me. What will they say about me? What will he or she say about me? And I think it's the same thing that you are mentioning. Recovery. How does it look like when you're helping someone? I know we'll talk about you later, but when you're helping someone, what is it that you expect from them, and what should they expect from you? What should they expect from a therapist, and you as a therapist, what do you expect from them in their journey to recovery and healing?
So, as a therapist, what I would expect is for them to, for now, the clients to take, like, for example, the feedback we give, or sometimes the exercises or activities we give, for the client to take them seriously, and also for them to know that I am not a doctor coming in to give you a pill, and that is it. You know, when you give someone a pill, they'll swallow it and the infection will just clear. So the only effort is them taking the pill and swallowing it. But in therapy, it is also them putting the effort, you know, and actively taking part in it, and knowing that, because here we can talk, but if you do not implement some things, some action points, because you tell a client, walk for 15 minutes outside, you know, make sure even it's a bit sunny, you go under the sun, and that is proven and tested. There's some people in depression, when you just start walking for 15 minutes every day, immediately they see some improvement. You know, so an example is that for journaling, someone telling you, no, I don't journal, but such things, you know, or looking for ways that they can, because there are some people who negative thoughts are just overwhelming. And then trying to tell them, we need now to look for ways, or even giving them some things they can use to help redirect their thought, but that is work. Someone doesn't want to do that. So that is sometimes the challenge in therapy, whereby that aspect of going the extra mile to do something outside the therapy room that we suggest, because it looks too easy or too simple, you know, or and the likes. So for me, what they would expect from me when they come in is for me to actually be able to tell what areas maybe they need help with, and pinpoint and to guide them, and just to help them to see, as they are the ones who will come up with everything. And that is a disclaimer I put as we start, or most therapists do that. I am not here to advise you, because when you ask them, what do you think therapy is all about? You are here to advise me. Majority of the clients will say, I am here to advise you. I tell them, no, I am not here to advise you. It is just for us to have a conversation, and for you to hear different perspectives, you to hear yourself. Do you know, by the way, how you think about things internally, and when you speak them out, there are different centers in your brain that receive it. Yes, when you have something, and you even reading, when you read quietly and when you read aloud, different centers. Yes, that's why, by the way, if you're studying and you're finding it hard to understand something, read it aloud, because you will hear differently. And that's why sometimes even group work works for students.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, because the areas receiving, the brain centers receiving that is different when you hear it. So even that, because you will hear a client talking, and then they will just hear briefly, and then you tell it back, you paraphrase or say it back to them, and they're like, they are seeing it from a different angle, you know. So those aspects. So that is how we come in, and even just to offer direction here and there, or things they didn't know, especially the younger people. Oh boy, just the basic things of life.
Sure.
They did not have their parent to tell them. Sometimes I am so surprised that something so simple and basically have no clue. And you know, I wish I had. So that is also some psychoeducation you give them, they never receive. And these, some of them are really A students and the likes, but areas of life and dealing with things here and the world here and there, they are not there.
That's why you can get a very bright student post high school, they're in campus, they are very bright, they are ASSS, they are medical students, they are law students, but when it comes to handling other aspects of life, they are literally, they are not at the same level.
They are not, and more employers are noticing it. They'd rather train you on that thing.
Sure.
Because they know these emotional intelligence or these life skills. It's really hard to train someone as an adult. So they would rather take this someone who's not as bright and train them than someone who is bright and these life skills, and they will keep struggling and not. So employers are noticing that, and they are really looking into it.
The World Economic Forum report came out for this year. I was very interested. It came out, and the future job report, and it was predicting that in the next 5 years, employers are no longer looking for hard skills. They are looking for soft skills. Emotional intelligence being one of them, the overall. Do schools, at some point, do schools and the education system fail us by not teaching us things that we need today and in the future?
Yes, they are failing us big time. But we see, because now, as you're saying, AI will do most of these thinking things and all that. But we need human skills, the soft skills. So we need to see schools not so much focused on, yes, the academic is important, but to add onto it. These the soft skills, the human skills and the emotional intelligence. We need that to be added in, but we are seeing we are not seeing them doing a really good job at it. Because, and we are seeing also even the parents are the ones who also come in and say it's more about academics still. It is still about academics, so the schools feel their hands are tied. Because it's about that. Because the soft skills, teaching them that, telling a parent in the afternoon we've been learning how to do interviews or how to relate, or we've been sitting in groups and having conversation. The parent will wonder, why am I paying school fees, I want them to come and I see that they have done math or English.
Technical work, engineering, drawings.
Yes, they want to see those things. So it's a bit tricky even for the parent and for the school rather to, but more can be done.
More can be done.
Yeah.
Faith, culture, society, where we have grown up, does it affect how we handle mental health issues? And to what extent?
It does. Yeah, it does. Wow, those are pretty
So
faith, yes, in brief, faith, it really does. It's been known, even if you check online, it says people who believe in a higher power, whichever way you describe the higher power, they tend to have better mental health because they know life doesn't end with me. Life doesn't start and stop with me. There's someone higher than me who can help.
Do us about more testosterone?
We can, to some extent. Not, and the brain connections and the likes. There's so much to
I would love that. I would love that to pick.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Because we connect the brain, and the brain changes and the hormonal changes, something like that. So the more, to some extent, the more testosterone you have, the more you'll be doer or action oriented compared to someone who you have, and that's why men take more risks than women, because they have more testosterone, that limits that they take more risks because they are not so much into thinking about the consequences and how for them it is just we are doing, and for us, I think the way God created us is now we are feeling and we are more relaxed. That's why the two become one, and they have to balance that aspect. And even the same goes for women. There are women who are doers and feelers. The doers are the ones who are now, they really do a lot, and somehow they are the ones who are told that wewe ndio mwanaume kwa nyumba. You will notice chances at most of the time, because this doer woman will tend to connect with a feeler man.
Because they are opposite.
Yes. So that's why wanasema huyu mwanaume amekaliwa, because he's comfortable sitting and letting the woman shine and talk and appear like she's in. But just maybe hata hajakaliwa, maybe it's just
What are the chances and effects of having a doer man and a doer woman in the same house?
It can happen, but there will be a lot of competition and friction. A lot of competition and friction.
Okay.
But then you can manage, to some extent you can, with work and you managing and wanting the relationship to work, somehow we'll get there.
Of course, after understanding.
Yes, after the friction and all that, and you decide, well, we want this to work. So, you have a way to balance things out.
I don't know why I feel, there are doers, I feel something. I need that conversation. And I'm very interested in that conversation because I think in my house we are both doers. I think so. And Okay. Now that men are already being affected, what can we do as a community, like a society, to build safe spaces for them now that it's already happening? Like simple, practical things that can be done either at home or at work?
To help them. One, as I had said, it's the men amongst themselves. Yes, to form these meetings and to have these scenarios where now we are coming in. Because even there's a friend of mine in the church they go to, he has decided, okay, we are not anywhere. Because you see people are serving their ladies. Everywhere. So now he's decided from these men, from now on or from next year, we are advocating now for them to start serving. Yes, we are empowering them, or we are having these meetings, but it's time. So it is men deciding now it is time for action. Okay. Regardless of what some women might say, because now they really come, so you can really be beat down. I know this is a sensitive topic. Thank God I'm a woman even talking about it, because we can really beat down on the men, you know. And even when they try to come and do things that will empower, actually is that fear of even saying we are empowering the boy, you know, because there's that fear of you are the ones who have oppressed us for centuries. So now how are you saying you're empowering the boy, you know? But we need those spaces coming in, because we are seeing the boy child now is in. It's a challenge. It's a challenge, you know.
We should basically take the forward mantle in championing for mental health issues. Yes, and don't wait for us women to do it. Sure. It is the men to start doing it, regardless after if you come and be in those, because and I understand why men would want to shy away from it, because you will not be celebrated that easily. You know, if you're coming up and you're saying you want to empower these boys in the world and you want to train and you want or even speaking up about it, even in terms of podcasts and the likes, because chances are high you might be attacked by the radical feminists that are there, and they are so powerful and so loud. So it is now being able to weather that storm, or regardless of what people would say about it. Yeah, because the boy child really, they are in trouble. Because even in schools we are seeing more girls graduating than the men, you know. Yeah, like recently there's one graduation whereby you are 2,200, but 1,400 and something were females, 725, I think, thereabout were male. So it is glaring, it is there that the men need to be, something needs to be done. Because what happened is that now the women later on were asking, where are the men? But we've been beating them down. We've been. So that's why they even in that mental state, they are saying the men are not there, they wamekadu. But wamekadu because they have been beaten, they are having the depression, some of them, and they have lost all need to fight and to want to achieve something, you know? Yeah. When you jump to stress, anxiety and the pressure that happens on day to day, one thing leads to the other. When people have got mental health issues, it will manifest in terms of stress and anxiety. If I want to understand the difference, stress, anxiety, and burnout, is there a physical difference that will help me master them?
Stress, anxiety, burnout. Now, for stress, we all experience stress day to day, every activities. But stress is when there's a change in your internal and external. It can be internal and external, whereby it changes. Like we can go deep. This also, it can affect your physiological, emotional, sociological, spiritual, and what else, psychological. So anything that will cause a shift or a change in that, maybe the loss of a job. Socially, you feel that you will not have friends and the likes, and that stress of I do not have anyone who, emotionally, anger, sadness, distress, frustration, and the like. So all those are factors of stress, things that have caused that. We have psychologically thoughts, I am a failure, will I amount to anything, will I get a new job, what will people say? Those are all those thoughts. Spiritually, you either grow closer or away from God, what else? they were so we can go to all those cognitively, we can go to all those areas. So that is stress. Stress is anything that causes a shift. And every time we are experiencing a shift, but how, if it's not as bad, if you are resilient and have learned how to cope, you'll manage to go back on track. You know, that's why two people will lose this job, the same job, but one will bounce back because of all those aspects coming in, and another one will really, their life will just go down.
Can even be hospitalized.
Yes, because of that. So it is that aspect of stress. Anxiety is when fear of the future. Anxiety is mostly fear of the future, which can come even as a result of stress. So it is either the immediate future or the far off future. So anxiety mostly, you notice, depending, every individual has their own way of showing the way anxiety manifests. For some it will be feeling like there is difficulty in breathing, so they need to breathe in and out. For others it will be swallowing. You feel like I need to swallow every time. Others it will be sweaty palm. Others clouding of thought. So that is that. And for burnout now is when stress, and then now one of the symptoms of anxiety coming up, it is overwhelming. You have tried to live and cope with all those things without dealing with them. Eventually you end up having burnout, whereby battery is dead.
Sure.
And that is how someone would lock themselves in the room and not get out for food, for anything, nothing, as in battery is dead. Or they can, or if it is they were working, they decide they quit. You know that now we start wondering, and you don't know where this person, and they call, you know those sudden someone calls, the boss tells them something and they say, I've quit. That is someone who has
that level.
Emotional burnout or physical burnout, they have gotten. And that's why we say, let us not wait until it gets there. Then later we regret why we did quit over the phone or after or walking out and the like. So that is that where battery is dead. Yeah.
Individually, when someone reaches that level, battery dead, how do they come back?
It's a slow process. One, we need to start catering to their physical needs because we need their body to start functioning. So it's just
fast.
Yes, we start. Are they eating? Are they sleeping? You know, are they taking care of their basic bodily needs? So once that is sorted, just the basic, you know, a child comes and you start with that. It's like you're nurturing someone back to that level. We start with the basic physical, and then now we go now to the thoughts. What are the thoughts as we go along? Not have any social circle. Who are they? They need to connect with someone, you know, and what emotional struggles are they having and the like. So as you build on one layer after another, and rest. So the physical is the first one. Rest, sleep, food. You know, and just nature, just relaxing, and that's why you need time off completely. That's why some employers are favorable. They tell you, instead of quitting, let's give you 2 weeks, and you realize that person will come back.
He will come back.
Yes. So we thank God for such employers who do that, you know.
If it's not resolved up to that level, both economically, like at work or at home, relationship-wise, it can have adverse effects. Like now we are seeing, if you don't get a good employer, some will just fire you. Like you will go, and and they won't have the not the courage, but they won't call you back. In family, at family level, how can that affect a relationship?
Being in burnout, or
the whole having being in unstable mental health, having stress, having trauma, how can all that? Yes.
In terms of relationship, relating will be difficult because there are people who shut down and there are people who become louder. So if you are someone who shuts down, you're likely to not communicate at all, even ignore even the simplest request that is made by whoever you're living with or whoever is around, and just stay alone, and then later complain that no one bothers or cares about you, but you are the one who shut down, and somehow in that shutting down, it is expected everyone will still be around, but people are humans and they also have emotions, so there is that, and then now there will be that back and forth, you know. And now for the person who becomes loud, or as we say, violent. There are those now their anger will show up. For the men,